Dear friends in Caritas, I am very pleased to talk to you about the process of developing the Code of Ethics and Operation Principles for the Caritas Confederation and the accompanying minimum standards. These are very important to us as a Caritas family, as they specify the values and principles that are fundamental to our charism as Caritas and underpin all our work and how to incorporate this in our structures, processes, and programs. Further, they articulate the norms that all members of Caritas Internationalis and their staff are expected to strive to observe. Two fundamental truths at the heart of the Christian anthropology. These are, firstly, that all women and men, girls and boys are made in the image and likeness of God, or, as the psalmist says, God has made him little less than God, crowned with glory and honor. The second is that love of neighbor is inscribed by the Creator in man's very nature. From these two truths, we discover the fundamental human dignity which is inherent in everyone as an intrinsic impulse and responsibility to act out of love, caritas, to seek the integral good of man. Thus, it is repeatedly stated throughout Deus Caritas Est that diaconia, the ministry of charity exercised in a communitarian, orderly way, became part of the fundamental structure of the Church. In broad terms, the Church charitable organizations, including Caritas at all levels, diocesan, national, and international, need to embody and balance two models of behavior. On the one hand, they must be professionally competent, with staff who are professionally trained in what they do and how to do it, and be committed to continuing care. On the other hand, they must strive to embody the very thing which suffering person, every person, needs: loving personal concern. Caritas organizations and their staff need humanity. They need heartfelt concern so that, dedicated to others, they experience the richness of their humanity. The dynamic of charity received and given is what gives rise to the Church's social teaching, which is Caritas in Veritate in Re Sociali, the proclamation of the truth of Christ's love in society. This doctrine is a service to charity, but its locus is truth. From these flow the practical criteria that govern moral action, notably justice and the common good. For this, Caritas workers need a formation of the heart, which leads them to an encounter with God in Christ, which awakes, refines, and renews their love and opens their spirits to others. The Christian program, the program of the Good Samaritan, the program of Jesus, is a heart which sees. This heart sees where love is needed and acts accordingly. The values and principles of Caritas, summarized in this Code of Ethics and Operating Principles, flow from the anthropological truths and necessary models of behavior. In addition, as a major network in the international humanitarian and development community, Caritas Internationalis actively seeks to improve its work and incorporate good practice as it develops. The Code of Ethics Operating Principles is based upon and summarizes in one normative statement the values and operating principles which comprise the overarching ethical framework to which all members and staff are expected to adhere. In all, its work, Caritas Internationalis, its members and staff aspire to embody these values and principles, and in so doing to be active witness to Christ's compassion at work in the world. The Caritas Internationalis minimum standards show how this code of ethics and operating principles is translated into organizational policy and behavior and include a procedure for assessing members' compliance. The code of conduct for staff describes the behavior that is expected of all Caritas staff. Thus, we can see that the content of this code of ethics and operating principles and the accompanying minimum standards is not new. Rather, they summarize and present a collective approach to commitments that we already have. They also include a mechanism by which we can support one another and help each other to live up to our commitments and responsibilities. Caritas Internationalis is confident that the majority of its members and staff act with great conscience and integrity and exemplify the values and principles of this code of conduct without needing explicit statements. However, by means of this code of conduct, we want to ensure greater clarity and consistency across the Confederation. As Caritas, a manifestation of the love of Christ acting in the world through His Church, we have much of which we can be proud and that we can share with our brothers and sisters of all faiths and none with whom we work closely in our charitable endeavors. Many of us keep our light under a bushel and do not bring it out in the open for all to see. Yet, doing so can help teach and inspire many, whether they be our brothers and sisters within the Caritas family, in the church, or more broadly still in the world at large. In this light, I hope that the Code of Ethics and Operating Principles and the minimum standards will be seen as an encouragement to all Caritas members to improve the quality of what we do and the sensitivity with which we do it, so we can genuinely accompany those we serve with humility, compassion, and solidarity, and help them maintain the dignity and build a little bit of heaven here on earth. We will journey as a family within the Confederation and support one another to help us and attain the standards that the poorest and most marginalized deserve. I would like to end by thanking all of you who have taken part in the preliminary consultation regarding the Code of Ethics and the workshops on the minimum standards. This is the beginning of an exciting initiative to try to ensure that we increasingly embody the love that we have been given in Christ and that we manifest in its manner and content of what we do for the least, the last, and the lost. For indeed, whatsoever we do for the least of His people, that we do unto Him. Thank you very much.